Hey y'all, how you doing? How you feeling? How's your day been? I'm Takara. This is my husband, Kylan, and we're here with another episode of Mutual Intentional Love. Today, we're talking about communication. And if you've watched our previous episodes, I mentioned how we met online. And so our first form of communication was text. Fell in love. It was love at first paragraph.
Yeah.
And, they always say that communication is key in every relationship, and we would definitely agree. It's been a couple of times where I have told people how amazing it is because, often men, not all men, but often men are not the best communicators. And certainly not with expressing their feelings and the more vulnerable side of things. So it's been multiple times where I have expressed how lucky, amazing, blessed that I am that I have this man who has always been able to truly, easily express his emotions. And that was one of the first things that was captivating. It was so did you like that word choice?
My goodness.
But it's true. It really is true. Just the reassurance that he would give me, and just the just anything, really anything that we talk about, that he was listening. That is absolutely a form of communication, is listening, and then being able to reassure that he understands what I'm saying, where I'm coming from. And I think that is a very humongous part of a relationship, a must, that's a need in a relationship that I'm super grateful that I have in our relationship. And yeah. What did that give you any thoughts? Because I feel like I'm just really
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Amazing, but a lot.
And true.
For sure.
Yeah, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That was very nice, babe.
Yeah, I appreciate the way that we've been able to share even in arguments, because that's another big area where communication's often the hardest. And I would say that we deal with our feelings differently.
Oh, for absolute sure. Absolutely.
I like to just, okay, let's actually get down to it. Let's talk about it and resolve whatever may be taking place. Whereas you, I would say, like to process.
Absolutely, because I feel that processing is beneficial. It's beneficial because a lot of times people will hear things and feel things, and then we're in a conversation that's turned into a disagreement that can escalate to an argument, and no one wants an argument. Things should stay at a disagreement at most. So if somebody is saying something to you that you may not absolutely like or love or agree with, that can have a emotional effect on you, that could be, not so positive or negative, it's probably a better idea to process what has been said to you to where you're not being reactive. Because a lot of times people are reactive. Yeah. You'll hear something and it's like, well, I'm going to one up you. I'm going to outdo you. You're not going to say something about me like that. And I'm supposed to take it?
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a healthy way to communicate with someone in a relationship. It shouldn't be, oh, we're going to go back and forth on a tit for tat, and we're constantly trying to outdo the other in some sort of perceived battle of who's going to say the most hurtful thing to not feel the most hurt within themselves or lose an agreement or disagreement.
It's probably why it works with us, actually. I didn't even think about that till right this moment
Mm-hmm.
because I can remember times where it could be frustrating that you want to take the time to process.
Yeah.
However, that's probably why it is most helpful, because if you were the opposite,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that like is what activates.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I might have a short fuse and it will be like so
Yeah, man, you had that fire
you're
in you.
yeah, you know. I was about to
Yeah,
give
I
my
know
whole
about it.
initials.
I know about it. No, but yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
better to not be so combative
Yeah, for sure.
and to have that balance. For us, that balance works out very well because me, I know that I can go to a place where I am not going to take things that are said to me lightly. And it takes a lot for me to be pushed so far outside of myself that
Yeah.
I feel like I want to give energy to unproductive way of conversing with one another. And that's never a place that I want to be in with my wife.
Right.
So I work with myself to stay within the means of my own composure, of my own personality, making sure I stay rooted and focused with who I am. Because I never want to be in a place where I have lost myself completely to where I've let my emotions run amok to where now I'm acting unseemly,
Right.
which a lot of people can't really manage. And even it's at times difficult for me, even still. But I have worked to make sure that is where I remain because I've never liked conflict. I've never liked being volatile with words. I don't do the whole yelling and screaming and using unnecessary offensive and harsh language. That's never been my style. It's always been incredibly off putting to me.
Yeah.
So I would much rather, if I don't like what's been said to me, I can sit with it, process it, and then take my time to properly articulate how I felt about it. And then we can have a full conversation. I will say that it is possible to have those tougher conversations in the moment, but that requires an even greater amount of self-control when it's such an emotionally charged or heated conversation where I certainly feel like it's better for me to process things, take a moment, might be a couple of minutes, it might be we need to revisit this the next day, go to sleep first, go do something else, then come back to it. The conversation is never a time where it was, to a point where it wouldn't be something we can talk about. So that's been amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna ask, like, how do you decide the amount of time for processing? Because I would
Mm.
think that even that alone should be communicated, so that the other
Well,
person is not feeling
yeah,
ignored or,
yeah,
like it just,
yeah. I feel like that usually is something that for us
yeah,
we do a good job of communicating that. If because we ask questions first of all, if we don't already have the answer, we will ask one another. We will ask, how much time do you need to process that? If because I see you want to process that, how long are you going to be doing that?
yeah,
To where we can finish this conversation in the most productive way possible. And I would say for me, it depends. It can vary depending on what the conversation is, how deeply it's affected me. Was it something that I just need to think about, or is it something that I need to process, acknowledge, and then determine how I want to proceed with? Because it could have been something as simple as, oh, I do need to think about that. And it could also be something about, well, that was hurtful. And how do I actually feel about the hurt that I'm feeling right now? Is it something that you've done to me, or something that I've done to you, or something that we've both done, or something that's we're not necessarily agreeing on, or is it something that we need to figure out together, compromise, and meet in the
Yeah.
middle on?
What was the trigger?
Yeah, or was there a trigger? Because those are big ones.
Yeah.
Triggers are big ones. Those are never
Right.
fun.
Like maybe neither one of us necessarily did something to each other, but
Something was
something
said.
was, yeah, something was just a reminder of, past situation that just didn't feel comfortable
For sure.
and it felt too familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is another important thing to remember in relationships, that you're not only engaging with the present and current version of your partner, you're always dealing with the current version of them, you're nurturing the future versions of them, and you also deal with the past versions of them, their childhood, their past relationships, their past, any sort of interactions they've had, any trauma, all of that stays with us. You know, as Bessel very well said, the
Mm-hmm.
body keeps the score. And
Yeah.
it's so true.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of these things when you're engaging with your loved ones throughout life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was also trying to remember what we had the conversation. We went live one of these days, and the person that we were speaking with gave the example
Yeah.
of, I think, actually leaving. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
as far as like
Yeah.
needing
Needed some
needing
time and space,
space,
actual
yeah.
space to
And
their process was needing actual physical space. But again, that was in the context of dating for them,
right, not marriage.
not marriage. That was in the context for them to give the backstory. They were given the hypothetical of being in a relationship where they were still in the dating phase, so they weren't living together or anything like that. So if they come into a disagreement, and to where one or the other feels like they need actual physical space for their processing, to take their time and feel through their own emotions, we're coming back to the conversation.
Do you think that it's fine if it was marriage?
I feel like anything is more preferable as long as it's not harming the other in some sort of physical or even a detrimentally emotional way. It's better than the alternative, because a lot of times when you're stuck in those highly charged emotions and moments, things can go awry very quickly. If they escalate to a place where neither one is able to de-escalate or calm each other or be that peace in the storm,
Yeah.
it just gets worse. So a lot of times people should do that.
Leave?
If there's no other way for them to control themselves and their emotions in the moment, yes, I do believe it is healthy for people to take the space that they need to figure out how to conduct themselves properly.
I mean, a lot has to be going on to for it to be that serious, I would think.
I would agree, but it's also as simple as not having the capacity or the tools necessary to communicate effectively. You may not have ever seen proper communication. You may not have ever seen the better way to conduct yourself in conflict.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily do what you don't know, but if what you do know, what you yourself are capable of, and what could happen if you're put in a situation you don't want to be in, and you feel cornered and triggered and attacked, and your is fight or flight, and you feel like you would rather fight, flight is a better option.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Um,
and a lot of times that's an issue.
I guess I feel like it should just I don't know. I think I've heard something recently. Not recently, but before,
Hmm.
and I was trying to remember how it was worded because I think it was focusing on like not leaving, like because once you do, like that becomes the habit, and it's like like the wedge
Hmm.
basically.
Yeah.
And I just can't remember even where it came from or what it was, but it I don't know. Like I just feel like you could go to a separate room, but like to leave the
Yeah.
house and it be days, because they definitely said days.
That
And then again, this
that's
was
true.
dating.
That's true.
And then I'm one that added the question, well, do you think it would be fine in marriage? I definitely don't think days. Like it was,
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Yeah. That's not
I don't even think
that's not
leaving
good
is
or
okay.
practical. Yeah. I don't think
Like maybe
that.
go take a walk,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I get what you're
like,
saying, but again, that's it's like it's situational, and it varies with the degree of dysfunction.
yeah,
Because that should never really be the go-to
yeah,
unless it's already a known situation where it's volatile
yeah. In that
and
case, I
combative.
think you might
Need to
need
part ways entirely if
or
it
or
reaches that
or
point.
really like look for some assistance. Like we did
Yeah.
just speak about therapy, previous episode,
For sure.
previous two episodes.
Yeah.
So
That
maybe look
definitely
into
would.
some couples therapy,
Yeah.
because I just really don't feel like it should reach that
Yeah. It
level.
should never reach that level within a relationship for sure.
Yeah, that's telling if it is,
Very
especially like the one-offs, okay, but like regularly,
consistent.
yeah,
Yeah.
consistently or regularly is no,
Yeah.
something's not right there.
Yeah. For sure. That is a very telling sign that
Yeah, yeah,
something needs to change immediately.
for sure. And then I feel like if you do leave the house, I don't know, like depending on if you're that upset, I don't think it's good to like drive. Like people getting, I think how terrible would that be?
Yeah.
Like you get in an
Yeah.
accident or something, and then like
Yeah. It has happened
it's
for
just
sure.
yeah, it does, yeah. That's just so terrible. That's why I said like maybe go for a walk. Like you're not really gonna harm you or anybody else going on a walk.
Yeah.
But
But honestly, I feel like if there's something that is healthy to do to give you peace and recompose yourself, I feel strongly that you should do that,
yeah,
because the alternative is never better. Because there are times where it's better to take a break and reconvene on something than keep needling the same point over and over, trying to get a preferred result that isn't necessarily attainable in that moment under those circumstances. And I feel like that within itself is an issue that a lot of people run into with the relationships, and any sort of relationship. It could be a coworker, a friend, a sibling, a parental figure, anybody in your life. If you're trying to force a conversation or force a conclusion or force a result, anything that you're trying to force, that usually doesn't end well.
right.
So both parties have to be willing and capable to work through it as their best selves in the best way they can communicate.
Yeah,
Because if you're not, it's kind of a recipe for disaster there.
Right. Yeah. It feels good. It feels good to be able to speak to your spouse
Yeah.
and, be able to share anything, talk
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah, that's a big one.
No, like really, no matter what it is, and
It's true.
uh, not having to hold things inside. Like, I know there's a lot of people that just bottle up their feelings, and sometimes that will come out in a way that it shouldn't, because
Yeah, for sure.
you didn't
You will either
talk through it to begin with.
explode or implode.
Yeah.
It's either going to come out in other ways. Regardless, it will present itself in an
Yeah.
unhealthy way.
Yeah.
And I will say that is definitely one of the things that I fell in love with you so much, because you allowed me the space to feel comfortable enough to open up.
Yeah.
Because I was always an incredibly private person. Like, there have been people in my own family that I have blood relation to, grew up with, don't know me as well or as fully as you do.
Yeah.
Due to one reason or another, either because of the dynamic of the relationship or just my own level of comfortability within myself, within my own emotions, and my awareness of how much I was willing to give of myself. And that has been an amazing experience, having that safe space with you to
I think it is amazing because
open up.
I don't feel that I did anything.
Yeah, you definitely did. You definitely did, because there have been times in the past where I would have had the same opportunities to be as forthcoming as I was with you, to really truly bloom in a way.
Yeah.
And the energy, the environment, the opportunity never felt the way it felt in the conversation with you. And I always say, like, meeting you was like coming home. It was
Wow.
like finding my soul's home. And that was just like a beautiful thing. And it was, you know. Excuse me.
What? Oh, you need the washcloth? You know what? My eyes are doing pretty good at the moment.
It was,
I did get hot at the beginning of the video, though.
It's a very, very beautiful thing.
That is very beautiful
to have found
yeah.
and share with you.
That is so amazing.
Yeah. So.
No mushiness.
Yeah.
No mushiness for the video. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. It was.
No, it is. I don't.
Yeah, man.
I guess I don't want to have. I don't. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start over with that part. I don't want you to feel like you have to expand.
Yeah.
But it's like I still. But it's almost like, okay, you said that, but you did do something, and and you had the opportunity to open up before, but didn't.
Yeah.
So I guess I was just trying to think about it from the perspective of our audience, and how somebody else could be that person, like basically how I was for you, how they could be that person for someone else, like if there's any way to explain it.
Yeah. Well, I will say
that's tough.
With that is trying to explain the unexplainable.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
because it was truly that surreal, that beautiful, that unbelievable, to where it's like you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
It's like a movie, honestly. And how did you get here? How is this happening? What is happening? I don't know the
That's true.
answers to any of it, but I love that it's happening and I'm tremendously grateful for it.
Yeah.
But in trying to break it down, I would say one of the key factors that was just so amazing is the willingness to love wholly,
Mm-hmm.
all encompassing, and the willingness to be completely honest,
Mm-hmm.
because honesty is incredibly important.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
being able to be fully honest with who you are
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to be honest with who you are, with who you want to be with,
Mm-hmm.
and them in turn accepting you in your entirety,
Yeah.
which is an amazing thing to be willing to love someone enough to accept every part of them, accept the good, the bad, the otherwise, everything that they are. You're willing to accept everything they are, everything they have been, everything they aren't, is beautiful.
Yeah.
In that true, genuine love is just like unmatched. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to have, to feel seen and heard and understood, and showing that you have a desire to know me.
Yeah.
You have a desire to love me, a desire to understand me, to listen to me, to want to know all these things without an expectation in return.
Yeah.
Just simple, pure, and genuine exchange of love
Mm-hmm.
is just
And
is
that
so
was,
beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing, is that it truly is, was, and felt and
Yeah.
feels mutual.
Yeah, for sure.
And we
Absolutely.
intentionally cultivate that.
Hmm.
And that's how we keep our love on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That is an incredibly beautiful thing.
it is. Yeah. So we hope
Yeah.
that you too are communicating in your relationships. Um,
Healthily.
yes, in a healthy manner. If not, today is a new day
The perfect day
to
to
start.
start.
Yeah.
Be better.
Yes.
Always be better. Be
Do
better.
better.
Do better.
Yes.
On all levels. If you feel like you need to seek outside help, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. It's only going to be beneficial to you and throughout your life to live the life that you want to live, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there are resources out there. If you feel like you need to look up, you can do some research and find out if there's a therapist that matches up with exactly what it is that you would like to seek help with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may need specifically a couples therapist. You might want actual therapist for yourself individually.
Mm-hmm.
You may want a male therapist, a female therapist. Options are out there for whatever it is that you feel like you need. Chances are it exists. A
Yeah.
simple
Even
Google
though,
search can help you.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, even outside of therapy,
Yeah,
like, just researching. There's self-help books. There's
absolutely.
maybe a friend you haven't spoken to in a while.
Mm,
That alone helps.
yeah. And also, I was just
A
about to say
mentor.
with that, even you may find on social media there's a group that
Yeah,
has
yeah,
very similar situations and where you can express yourself freely and comfortably with other people who understand your exact situation. which is an amazing thing always.
Yeah,
Having shared experiences with someone else is often very powerful.
for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's good, babe.
Yeah. I think that about sums it up.
Yeah.
Communication is essential. So, as always, we're wishing you much love, much peace, and prosperity. Stay well and prosper, everybody.